Getting to know plants. You see the plants daily around you. Do you observe that some plants are small, some are very big, and some are just like patches of green on the soil? Some plants have green leaves while some other plants have reddish ones. Some plants have big red flowers. Some have a small blue ones while some have none. We see a large variety of plants around us near our homes on both sides of your way, in the school ground, in the parks and gardens, isn't it? Let us know about the different parts of any plant. By this information, we can find the differences between plants of different types. Can you name the stem, roots, branches, leaves, buds, and flowers of the plant? Color the parts of the plant. Let us go on in nature, walk, make friends with many different types of plants, and collect some information about them. Herbs, shrubs, and trees. Activity 1. Look carefully at the branches and stem of plants that are much smaller than you. Plants which are about your size, plants that are much taller than you. Touch their stem and try to bend them gently to see whether they are hard or tender. You must care that the stem does not break. Hug the tall plants to observe how thick their stems are. We should also observe from where the branches grow. In some plants near to the ground or higher up on the stem. Now group all the planets we noticed in given table 1. Some examples are so you can fill the columns 1, 2 and 3 by writing about more plants. Fill column 4 after you have read later part of this chapter. Suggestion work in groups of 6-7 students in doing activities given in this chapter so that a minimum number of plants are uprooted. Use weeds with soft stems for study the given activities. Do you wonder what are weeds in fields, in pots or lawns? Often some unwanted plants or weeds start growing. Have you looked at farmers removing these weeds from their fields? Based on the characters, most plants can be divided into three categories: herbs, shrubs, and trees. Plants having green and tender stems are called herbs. Usually, they are small sized and may not have many branches. Many plants have the stem branches out near the base. The stem is hard but not very thick. These plants are called shrubs. Some plants are very long and they have hard and thick brown stems. They have stems with branches in the upper part, much above the ground. These plants are called trees. Can you now correctly classify the plants and complete the column 4 of table 1? Seema is curious to know what kind of stem the money plant, gourd plants, beanstalk, and grape vines have. See some of these plants. How are these different from a herb, a shrub, or a tree? Do you observe that some of them need support to climb upwards? The plants which have weak stems cannot stand straight and they spread on the ground are called creepers, while those plants that take help of neighboring structures and climb up are called climbers. These plants are different from the shrubs, herbs, and trees. If there are some plants at your home, then you must take care of. Write down the names of any trees, herbs, shrubs, or creepers growing in your house. STEM activity. STEM activity 2. We would need a glass, red ink, water, a blade, and a herb for this activity. Take some water in a glass. Pour a few drops of red ink to the water with the help of a dropper. Cut the base of the stem of the herb and place it in the glass. See it the next day. Do you see any part of the herb seems to have red color? If the answer is yes, how do you find the color reached there? You can cut the stem across its thickness and see the red color inside the stem. For this activity, we observe that water moves up inside the stem. In other words, we can say that stem conducts water just like the red ink. Minerals dissolved in water also reach in the stem along with water. The minerals and water go to leaves and other parts of a plant attached to the stem. Through narrow tubes, Sima did this activity with herbs having white flowers. She kept one branch of a herb plant with a white flower in the water in glass A and added a few drops of red ink to the water. She then took another branch. She cut it halfway along its length and kept its two ends in the water in glasses B and C. She added a few drops of red ink in glass B and blue ink in glass C, respectively. She wants to guess what would happen to the flower kept in glass A and the flower kept jointly in B and C. When you had cut across the thickness of steam, did you observe a number of spots of red color arranged in the form of a ring inside the steam? Does this explain the results that Sima obtained? Try this activity yourself. Observe the leaves of plants around you and draw their pictures in your notebook. Are all the leaves the same in shape, size, and color? How are the leaves attached to the stem? That part by which leaf is attached to the stem is called perityl. The broad green part of the leaf is known as lamina. Can you write the name of these parts of the leaves in plants? Do all the leaves have petioles? Let us take the leaf to know more about it. If you viewed that leaves cannot shine, here is an activity that will make you think again. Activity 3. Put a leaf under a white sheet of paper. Hold it only at one place. Tilt your pencil tip slightly and rub it on the part of the paper having the leaf below it. Did you get an impression with some lines in it? Are they looking similar to those on the leaf? The lines present on the leaf are called veins. To find a thick vein in the middle of the leaf. This thick vein is called the midrib. The design created by veins in a leaf is known as the leaf venetation. If the design made by veins is net-like on both sides of a midrib, then this venetation is reticulate. In the leaves of grass, you might have observed that the veins are parallel to one another. This venetation is called parallel venetation. Observe the venetation is in as many leaves as possible without plucking them from the plant. Draw the design and write the names of some plants having parallel and reticulate venetation. Reticulate venetation shall be now wonder to know some of the functions of a leaf. Activity 4. Take a herb to transparent polythene bags and some threads. Do this activity during day time on a sunny day. Bring into use a healthy, well-watered plant which has been growing in the sun. Now enclose a leaf branch of the plant in a polythene bag and tie up its mouth with a thread. Tie up the mouth of the another empty polythene bag and place it also in the sun. After a few hours, see the inner surface of the bags. But what do you observe? Are you seeing some droplets of water in any of the bags? Which bag has the droplets? Can you tell where they come from? Remove the polythene bag from plant after the activity. Water comes out from the leaves in the form of vapor by a process known as transpiration. All plants release a lot of water into the air through this process. Why did we tie a polythene bag around the leaves? Would we have looked the water from the transpiration of plants otherwise? What change takes place in the water to appear on the polythene bag? We have learnt that water can be changed into different forms by some activities. Can you now tell these activities? Name the process that makes water drops appear on the inner surface of the polythene bag. Leaves also have some another functions. Let us study this. Activity 5. Take a beaker, a leaf, a spirit, a test tube, burner, water, a plate and iodine solution. For this activity, keep a leaf in a test tube and add a spirit to completely cover the leaf. After that, put the test tube in a beaker half filled with water. Now heat the beaker till all the green color from the leaf escapes out into the spirit in the test tube. Take out the leaf carefully and wash it in water. Place it on a plate and pour some iodine solution on this leaf. Note since the activity involves the use of spirit and heating, so this activity should be done by the teacher in the class. What do you observe? Compare your results with experiments done when you tasted food for presence of different nutrients. Does this mean that the leaf has starch in it? In chapter 2, we learned that a slice of raw potato also shows the presence of starch. Potatoes get the starch from other parts of the plant and at last store it. Leaves prepare their food in the presence of sunlight and a green colored substance. To prepare their food, they use water and carbon dioxide from air. This process is known as photosynthesis. Oxygen is released in this process. The food made by leaves gets stored ultimately and differently parts of a plant as a starch. How do we wonder that the leaf has made the starch and not received it the from the other parts of the plant? To verify this, the above activity can be repeated with a little difference. First, put a plant with green leaves in a dark room for a day or two. Now cover a part of a leaf of the plant internally with black paper and leave the plant in the sunlight for a day. Remove the black paper from a leaf and repeat the test on the leaf for starch. What do you observe? What do you observe? Which portion of the leaves indicates the presence of starch? Does this help us to wonder that leaves produce starch in the presence of sunlight? We know that the steam gives water to leaf. The leaf uses the water to prepare food. The leaves are also release water through transpiration. Do you know how the steam and leaves get the water? This work is done by roots. Look at given figure. Look at figure of watering the plants. What do you think is watering their plant correctly? Sima is Mohan. Why? Do you know which part of the plant is in the soil? Let us read more about this part. Root from the following activities. Activity 6. Take some soil, 2 pots, kurpi, blade, or a pair of scissors and water. This activity is to be done in groups of 5-6 students. Choose 2 weeds of the same type from a field and take them out. You are advised that their roots do not break. Plant one of the weeds in the soil present in pot. A. Cut off the roots with the help of a blade from the other weed and plant it in the soil present in pot B. Water them every day. Every day see the plants. Every day see the plants. After a week, are both plants healthy? Healthy. Both the plants are watered every day, but one plant is without roots. Is not true. Is not true. Does this activity help us to understand an important function of the root? Let us do an another activity to study another function of root. Activity 7. Take some seeds of gram and match katori, cotton wool and some water for this activity. Take 2 katoris and put some wet cotton wool in them. Put 4 or 5 seeds of grain in one and match in the other katori. Keep the cotton wet by sprinkling water regularly until the sprouts have grown into young plants. After a week, try to remove the young plants from the cotton wool. Watch it easy to remove the cotton wool from the roots. Why? In activity 6, we could not easily remove the plants from the soil. We dug them out. The roots help in keeping the plants firmly in the soil. They are called to anchor the plant to the soil. You have observed that there are different types of leaves or stems. Do the roots also show a variety? Let us know these varieties. Activity 8. Observe carefully the given fingers A and B. Now observe the roots of the gram plants you have removed from the cotton wool. Do they appear similar to the roots shown in figure A and B? What kind of the roots the match plant have? Write gram or match in the blank spaces in the given figure after matching the roots with the fingers. What are the similarities? What are the similarities between the roots of a gram and match? What are the differences between them? There may be 2 different kinds of roots, isn't it? Are there also other kinds of roots? Let us observe. Activity 9. Go to a field where many weeds are growing and dig out some weeds. Clean the soil from the roots and see them carefully. Do you observe that all the weeds have 2 types of roots as you see in figure A and B? For roots of the type so in figure A, the main root is called taproot and the smaller roots are known as lateral roots. Plants with roots as shown in figure B do not have any main root. All roots appear similar and these are called fibrous roots. Put those weeds separately into that have taproots and those which have fibrous roots. See the leaves of the plants in group A. What type of vegetation do they have? What type of vegetation do you find in plants of group B? Do you observe that leaf vegetation and the kind of roots in a plant are related in a very important way? Write some types of leaf vegetation and the types of roots of plants in given table. Mohan can tell what kind of roots a plant has. For this, he need not to pull out the plant. He can give answer by looking at its leaves. We have read that roots absorb minerals and water from the soil, and the stem supplies these to leaves and other parts of the plant. The leaves make food. This food goes through the stem and is stored in different portions of a plant. We eat some of plants or their parts as roots like radish, carrot, sweet turnip, potato, and tapioca. We also eat some other parts of a plant where the food is stored like fruits, e.g. banana, mango, etc. Do you know that stem works like a two-way street? What goes up through the stem and what comes down? What comes down? What comes down? Now let us discuss about the structure of a flower. Flower take three branches of a rose as one, second, and third, from which you will recognize the plant clearly. Or are all flowers colorful in given figure? Have you ever observed flowers on the plants of grass, maize, wheat, guava, or mango? If you have observed flowers in these plants, are they brightly colored? Let us study some flowers closely and carefully. When selecting flowers to study, avoid using cryptothenium, marigold, or sunflower. You will study in higher classes that they are not single flowers but groups of flowers. Activity 10. Activity 10. Take one bud and two fresh flowers, each of any of the following mustard, lady figures, datura, china, rose, brinjal, glumahar. Also take a blade, a glass slide, or a sheet of paper, a magnifying glass, and water. See carefully as tell what are the prominent parts of the open flower. Open flower. These are the petals of the open flower. Different flowers have various petals of colors. According to your view, where are the petals of a closed bud, which is the main portion of a bud? Did you observe that this part is made of a small leaf-like structures? They are known as samples. Samples. Take a flower and look at its sepals and petals. Now answer the following questions. How many sepals does it have? Are they joined together? What are the colors of the petals and the sepals? How many petals does your flower has? Are they joined to one another or are they separate? Do the flowers having joined sepals have petals that are separate or are they joined together? Write down observations of a whole class in given table. You can add some observations to this table from a field trip to go to your nearest locality where there are plants with flowers. Fill the last two columns of this table after reading the entire section. To observe the inner portions of the flower clearly, you have to cut it open. If its petals are joined, for instance, in datura and other bell-shaped flowers, you should have to cut them lengthwise, spread out them so that the inner portions of the flower can be seen clearly. Remove the petals and sepals to observe the rest of the parts of flower. Now identify the stamens and the pistil in your flower. Do you know about the parts of a stamen? Stamens as pistil, parts of a stamen as pistil are shown in below figures. Can you identify both the parts of the stamens in your flower? How many stamens are present in your flower? Draw a neat diagram of a stamen and write the name of its parts. The innermost part of a flower is known as the pistil. It is found inside the stamens. If you cannot see it completely remove the remaining Stamens of the flower. Identify the parts of the pistil with the help of figures. Draw a neat diagram of the pistil of your flower. Activity 11. Let us now discuss about the structure of the ovary of a flower. It is slower and the lowermost part of the pistil. We will cut this part to observe how it seems inside. Observe figure A and B carefully to wonder how to cut the ovary of a flower. Take two ovaries from different flowers and cut them into different webs to avoid them from drying. Pour a drop of water on each of the two pieces of the ovary that you have cut. See the inner parts of the ovary using lens. Do you see some small bed-like structures inside ovary? They are known as ovules. Draw a neat diagram and show the inner parts of the ovary in your notebook. On your field walk, try to know more names of the flowers from your garden. You are advised is not to pluck more flowers. Based on what you have filled in table 3, answer the below questions. Do all flowers have petals, sepals, pistils, and stamens? How many flowers are there that do not have any of these? Are there? Are there some flowers which have parts other than these? Did you observe any flowers there which have sepals and petals that look similar? Did you see any flowers in which the number of petals is different from the number of sepals? Do you now understand that the structure of any flower is not always the same? The number of petals, sepals, stamens, and pistils can also be different in different flowers. Sometimes some of these parts in a flower may even be absent. We have discussed some features and functions of roots, leaves, and stems. We have also studied the structure of different flowers. We shall learn about the functions of a flower in higher classes. We shall also learn about the fruits in higher classes.